Good morning, one and all, and welcome to our worship service at First Unitarian Society of Ithaca. Here we gather, nurturing our connections, seeking inspiration, and embracing change. My name is Preston Wilson, and I am your celebration associate today. Thank you so much for joining us. Those of you who are here in person and those watching online, it feels especially good to be together today as we participate in our awakening. Please check our website for more information about how to create connections. If you'd like to receive updates describing opportunities for engagement, please email a request to office@uuithaca.org. Newcomers are especially invited to visit our website and complete a newcomer form on the home page. Our service this morning is being live streamed from our sanctuary in downtown Ithaca and will be available for later viewing as well on your YouTube channel. I'd now like to invite Elliot up to help with the chalice lighting. Merritt, I'm sorry, Merritt, my mistake, Merritt up. So as Merritt lights the chalice, we will say these words. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action. Good. Now, for the announcements, I'd like to invite Madonna Stallman down, who's going to give you an announcement.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to leave my mask on because I didn't test before coming to the service. So if you don't mind, just imagine a big smile on my face. Okay, this morning, today, Ithaca Sanctuary Alliance resident Drusilla will sell jewelry in the parlor that she has handcrafted. Your purchases will help support Drusilla and her 4-year-old daughter, Jessie, and Jessie will be here also, as they transition from sanctuary to working and living in Ithaca. This will also be an opportunity for you to personally meet this migrant family whom you have helped support for the past 2 years, and find out what each of us can do to support them in their transition to make Ithaca their home. Please join us in the parlor after the service.
Our next announcement is by Matt Hare, if he's here. There you are.
Good morning. Yeah. My name is Matt Hare, and I want to share a few thoughts about stewardship giving this morning, as well as update you on the progress of the pledge campaign this year. It may be snowing outside this morning, but this year, March, has been full of beautiful blue sky days. I like to think that sunshine has helped each of us be more generous, whether we are motivated by our faith, compelled by our commitment to this community, or eager to see a successful search for a new minister. The tapestry behind me reflects the generosity of 95 households, a half to 2/3 of the annual number who have pledged in the recent past, and slightly over 1/3 of our total household count. The pledging to date totals $153,000, almost 50% of our campaign goal of $330,000. That's great. Thank you for your generosity. These pledges include 5 households pledging for the first time. Welcome. And as the numbers increase, the number of households, we're still 60% of us returning pledgers, increasing our pledge from previous pledges. Thank you for your support. Each Sunday in March, one of us from the stewardship team, through prose or poetry, has offered different ways of thinking about stewardship and your pledge. If you're like me, before I started working with the stewardship team, you may view your pledge as just another check to write. And the nature of writing checks is that we want it to be painless and inconsequential to our budget. Well, charitable giving is in a different class because it helps us live righteous lives. It helps us feel vested in the causes we care about. Still, I think for myself, my charitable giving often was guided, subconsciously perhaps, by our dollar-centric, economy-focused society. I would argue that charitable giving, at a level that represents our spare change, while laudable, is not transformative. To live into our faith and our UU values of generosity and service, charitable giving should be at a level that changes our life in some way. When you make your pledge to the First Unitarian Society of Ithaca, you are supporting this beloved community for the next church year, the church year that starts this July. My suggestion today for you to consider is to make a pledge that changes your life. Everybody has different circumstances and different means. This year, make your pledge at a level that goes beyond spare change and feels transformative to you. This Sunday concludes the visible portion of our pledge campaign. An important part of our message this year has been to get your pledge in now so that our leadership knows what we have to work with in our minister search and for all the programs and staff in next year's budget. I suspect most of you who are viewing Sunday services online or attending in the sanctuary have helped fill this tapestry to date, and I thank you. The stewardship team will continue our work by reaching out to members and friends who we have not heard from yet. You'll be able to monitor our progress on the FUSIT website, and we continue to join with you in cherishing our past and building tomorrow together.
Thank you, Matt. Such an important message. Good morning, everyone. It's so good to see so many familiar faces here in the sanctuary. I want to wave to everyone. And I love seeing all the young faces, the small people who are coming back into our pews. It's really wonderful to have you here. I suspect maybe my topic was slightly attractive to the younger crowd because today we're really going to talk about play. And I'm going to start us off with a little reading from the book Play, How It Shapes the Brain, Opens the Imagination, and Invigorates the Soul. It's by Stuart Brown, one of the most important researchers in the world of play, in my opinion. It's called The Promise of Play. After 5 hours of driving over the tire-melting highways of the Nevada and Utah deserts, I am beat. My yellow lab, Jake, shares the emotion. He is draped across the back seat, all the air let out of him. The last 10 miles of our journey is an unpaved, rattling road up to my cousin Al's ranch, so it's half an hour more before I shut down the engine and the dust cloud that has been following us blankets the car. Then, something miraculous occurs. I open the door for Jake, and he freezes. Every sense a quiver. He instantly takes the whole scene: a bright August day, 4 acres of pasture, a dozen horses, my cousin, his 4 kids, 2 dogs. A light breeze rustles aspen leaves, wafting scents of hay and horses across the Utah ranch. Doggy heaven. In half a second, Jake is flying out the door, a blonde blur zipping toward the pasture. He races at full gallop, one way, reverses, paws tear up the dust, a skidding turn, then accelerates to warp speed in the opposite direction. His mouth is agape, the corners pulled back in a canine grin, his tongue lolling out one side. Jake blasts into the maze of animals without hesitation. I worry about how the horses will react, but they don't shy. In a flicker, the horses are jumping. It seems that we all, adults, kids, dogs, horses, recognize that Jake is consumed with the joy of play. All of us are caught up in the moment. I'm going to talk a little bit more about play with you today, and I'm looking forward to sharing this journey.
All right, in the spirit of play, we're going to try out a hymn that I don't think we've ever done before. It's the first one in the Teal hymnal, number 1000, Morning Has Come. Morning has come, arise and greet the day. Dance with joy and sing a song of gladness. The light of hope here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. A new day dawns, once more the gift is given. Wonder fills this moment shared together. The light of peace here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. Open our eyes to see that life abounds. Open hearts to welcome it among us. The light of love here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home.
Good morning, friends. I can't help but notice that we have some young people with us here in the sanctuary, something I'm very excited to see, and I wanted to invite any young people down that would like to come down today. I have a book to read, and I have a wonder box to open. You don't have to, but anyone who's young or young at heart that would like to come and sit and be a little closer to see the pictures, come on down. All right, I've got the wonder box here. I'm gonna turn it around, and I'm gonna have someone reach in and pull out what is in this wonder box for me today. Wants to grab it. Thank you. If you can see, there is a present, a wrapped present there. You can pass it around, just don't open it. All right, we could also call it a gift. So I'm kind of wondering what's inside, and it could be anything. In fact, until it's opened, the possibilities are endless because we don't know what it is yet. The theme this month is renewing faith. And last week, we talked about the challenges that come when we return to something and it's changed, when the renewal brings about something new and unexpected. Today, I invite you to explore how we can renew faith in ourselves by trusting our gifts. Each person has gifts inside of them, like our gift right here. Is it back to you? Okay, hold on to it. If this were the box which held the gifts of you, what would be inside? Do you have the gift of making people laugh? Anyone have that gift? You make people around you laugh. Oh, I see some hands over there. There's some funny people here. What about being a good listener? Who here is a good listener? Oh, I see some more hands, some good listeners out here. How about kindness? Anyone have the gift of kindness? Oh yeah, I see even more hands, some down front too. What about hard work? There's some hard workers in here, some nodding heads, yeah. How about understanding? People whose gifts include understanding others, a little empathy. How about being very strong? Anyone here good at lifting and moving things? Oh, yeah, I see a couple of them, people like, What about being able to figure things out? Who's really good at puzzles, brain teasers? I love that kind of thing, escape rooms. These are gifts that you can trust because they're inside you. They allow you to renew faith in yourself. They remind you that you can rely on yourself in challenging times. Our faith reminds us that we have inherent worth. In fact, that is our very first principle. Part of what this means is that we have the strength and gifts within us to help others and ourselves. Today I'm going to share this story with you. It's called The Magical Yet by Angela Dieterlisi, and it's an example of how we can renew faith in ourselves. I'm going to turn this way so I can hold it here so my friends down front can see. This is The Magical Yet. There are days when your dreams haven't come true, or you're upset by the things you can't do. If you've lost or failed or cried just a bit, you're tired of waiting, ready to quit. Like that shiny new bike you couldn't ride, and it didn't matter how hard you tried. You couldn't pedal, and you couldn't steer, and you couldn't get that bike into gear. Then, when you thought you were on the right track, you popped a wheelie and fell on your back. And now, you won't ride. No way. Not ever. No riding for you. You'll walk forever. Don't give up now. There's a major game changer, a most amazing thought rearranger, someone to show you how good you can get. Now introducing The Magical Yet. With this yet's magic, you can begin to see that you're going beyond where you've been. There are so many things that you've learned to do when you didn't know the yet was with you, like when you babbled before you could talk, or how you crawled before you could walk. Yet's a dreamer, a schemer, a hoper, a trier, a maker, a doer, a gotta fly higher. This yet finds a way, even when you don't, and yet knows you will, when you think you won't. Like that shiny new bike that you just couldn't ride, hop right back on with the yet by your side. Yet doesn't mind warm-ups, fixes and flops, do-overs, redos, stumbles, and stops. Yet knows there's mistakes, some big and some small. With yet, you're sure to get over them all. Play the kazoo or play the bassoon. Jam with the yet, and you'll soon be in tune. Try skateboarding tricks like the ollie heel flip. This yet can get to the championship. Tongue twisters twisted your tongue in a knot, yet says, keep trying and practice a lot. Be patient. We can't do it all overnight. Some things take days, months, or years to get right. But if you keep leaping, dreaming, wishing, waiting, learning, trying, missing, with the yet by your side along the way, you'll do all the things that you can't do today. Now you're bolder, braver, starting to see. With yet, you can get where you want to be. You finally did it. Yet knew you could. You're not just riding, you're getting quite good. But don't stop now. You've got so much to do. The good news is, this yet grows with you. So, no matter how big or old you may get, you will never outgrow, you'll never forget. You can always believe in the magic of yet. Thank you for sharing this story with me. Our story reminds us that we don't have to be perfect and know how to do everything at once. The magical yet is a game changer. With this magic, you can feel comfortable not knowing how to do something yet. It gives you a chance and some hope as you warm up, fix things, and make mistakes. And we are all in a time with a lot of yet happening, a lot of continued striving and waiting and practicing our ability to be patient. But I know it's coming. The magical yet is on its way for you and for me, for this community, and for the world. Thank you, friends.
That was great. In the spirit of reverence, love, and care, we take time now to bear witness to some of the joys and sorrows of our community. If you have a joy or sorrow you'd like to have shared, please send them to joysandsorrows@uuithaca.org by 9 a.m. on Sunday. And bear in mind that our services are live streamed when you consider the private nature of your share. We want to share those events that call for our prayers and support, our praise and celebration. From last week, again, we'd like to keep Jim and Susan Murphy in your hearts as Jim works to recover from surgery he had at Memorial Sloan Kettering on March 15th. Also, Joan Farbman's father, aged 96, passed away on March 14th. If you'd like to send your condolences to Joan, please email her. Her email address is in Breeze, and I'm encouraging everybody to use Breeze. That's our face of the community at this point. For those we're holding in our thoughts, in our hearts, and perhaps in our prayers, let us call those names out loud into this community, into this space of healing and hope right now. We extend loving kindness to all in our world, and let us not forget to extend loving kindness to ourselves. Today, tomorrow, and beyond, may our hands be outstretched in kindness, and let us keep showing up to our lives and each other with an open heart no matter what. Love and courage to us all. Blessed be. Amen.
For the meditation today, we're going to go a little bit off script from what's in your order of service. I'm going to ask you today to think about renewing your faith in play. And so I want you to close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so. And for the adults in the room, think back to your childhood. Think about one of your favorite play memories. Think about everything you saw, you felt, who was there with you. For the smaller people in the room, think about your favorite thing to play, your favorite thing you've played with recently. Spend a little time with that memory, how it made you feel. When you open your eyes, hold that feeling inside again, that feeling of joy and playfulness. The second reading I'd like to share with you today is a little less of an academic source, though that wasn't a very academic story from the first one. But it's from the book Living Juicy by Sark, Daily Morsels for Your Creative Soul. And in this book, she shares some words about adventure that I thought I would bring forward for us as I start us thinking on this process of play and what it means in our day-to-day life. So, adventures are known to cause joy and laughter. How can you tell if you need some adventure? If you feel a little stiff or bored or dry, especially if you feel a lack of silly, slip some adventure into your life. The results are immediate and may cause gales of laughter, which can blow you into another world. Adventures always lead to new ones. So often, I'm dehydrated for an adventure and don't even know it. So I venture out and let whimsy lead the way. Often I walk into someone else's miracle or example of natural wonder, and zoom, I'm into an adventure. Adventuring on foot is sublime. Abandon your automobile. Give it to someone for the day and take yourself for an adventure and a roaming walk. Adventures need time to be experienced. Take a miracle walk. Bring no money and smile at everyone you meet. Adventures like footwork. My friend Robin recently realized again that being outside at night is a blessed thing. We went for a miracle walk in soft purple light and marveled at cloud wisps and scents of eucalyptus and late night birds circling and drinking from a fountain of well water. Walking adventures are something important to include in life. I have to grab my other piece here. All right, so I titled this sermon several months ago when we came up with the idea, do you want to throw a snowball? Never quite imagining that there would actually be snow on this day. So sorry about that. If I called that on us, I apologize. But I wanted to evoke this sense of playfulness, this idea of cultivating playfulness, and remind us of these pieces. You may have discerned that that's the theme for this morning. It's not the theme for the month, and it's not quite tied as well as it could be. Apologies on that. But I imagine some of you are thrilled to see a title about playfulness. And then some of you might not be so much so. You may find yourselves doubting or thinking, Kim, play is for children. Why do we need to spend a whole service thinking about it when there are so many important and serious issues to think about? Isn't it supposed to be spring? Why are we thinking about snowballs and throwing them? The COVID numbers in our community are skyrocketing again, Kim. There are so many serious things. Russia is attacking Ukraine. There's a propaganda campaign that people drink with their daily serving of fake news. People with uteruses are being legislated out of the right to choose in state after state. Climate change is becoming climate disaster so many places around the world. And racism rears its ugly head so frequently in our social systems, it can feel like a many-headed hydra that we must root out of ourselves and the social systems over and over again. I could obviously continue on with this depressing list. And I am in no way saying these are not important issues that we need to grapple with individually and as a community. What I would like to propose to you today, though, is that if we do not prioritize moments of play, of joy, of having a playful mindset, if we crush that out of ourselves with a ruthless dedication to the serious issues of our world. We will miss important opportunities to strengthen our individual resilience, to build supportive bonds within our community. We'll miss the opportunity to come up with creative solutions. Tickly throat. We will miss those solutions because they do not only come from despair and hard work. Those creative solutions come from leaps of inspiration, and a playful mind is what is prepared to make those leaps. So let's take a moment to explore play a little bit further. Remember that play memory I had you bring forward a few minutes ago? Now, I want you to try to remember the most recent time you felt something similar. It could be at work or in a leisure activity, could be a hobby, could be here in the sanctuary. Play researchers point out that play should not be limited to specific activities that are apart from work. It should not be set up as an opposite to work. Even work tasks can be executed playfully. If it's hard to find that recent memory, and I know that times have maybe pushed some of those down for us, I'd like to suggest that you might be missing something important. Stuart Brown, the researcher I read from first, asserts later in the same book that not being able to access that playful feeling, not finding that lightness and joy regularly, should be as alarming as chest pain. We know that all young mammals have a biological drive to play. I could talk about that for a long time. Humans are among the most playful animal. It's been suggested that our broad range of play behaviors, and we have so very many, may be part of what has given us our capacity for innovation and change in our environment, for better or for worse. The good news is that even if this sense of play and playfulness has slipped away from you, if it has been stolen by grief or stress, pushed down, lost to you to access so easily, the good news is it can be reclaimed. We know that human beings have a homeostatic drive for play. Do you remember homeostasis from science class? If you haven't gotten to it yet, it's about balance, right? It's about this ability of the system, the human system, to come back into balance. For children, this applies in play too, quite obviously, and in mammals, it applies in adulthood as well as in childhood. If play is restricted for a period of time in young animals or children, they will increase the amount of time they spend in play when the restriction is lifted. Trying to suppress children's play in education, or if we should dare to do so here in church, right? It doesn't work out too well. That's not what we want. But sometimes our social systems have asked us to try to do that. But kids will find a way to play. Our current cultural norms lean towards what some researchers call surplus safety for children, trying to restrict down play to make it as safe as possible. But some risk is necessary to feel playful. Personally, I'd rather have my child learning now about assessing risk at age 8 than doing so when he's 15 and I can't watch him as closely. I'd rather have him climb a tree than choose something where the risks might be higher. Play finds a way. Play happens in war zones. It happens through pandemics. And adults need play too. But we're not as good at keeping it centered as children are. If we go too long without finding it, if we go too long in our work, in our homes, in our lives, we start to feel burnt out. We get exhausted, and that exhaustion doesn't go away when we sleep. One part of the answer, and there's many, and I could go into lots of these connections between the neuroscience and mental health and all these pieces, but a part of that answer is to cultivate what scientists call a playful mindset. Now, I love the neuroscience of this. I could geek out on this for a long time, but I won't make you learn all the structures like I do my students. But suffice it to say, we have structures in our midbrain that are responsible for very serious parts of homeostasis, regulating breathing and responding to pain. They also respond to play. And in doing so, they release some very important neurochemicals that are our own homemade opioids. And those opioids flood through our brains, these feel-good neurochemicals, right? They bathe the rest of the brain. And what do they do to the rest of the brain, those parts that might be a little less influenced immediately by play? Well, one area in particular, the prefrontal cortex, right up in front, it's important for making logical decisions. It's important for organizing our thoughts, inhibiting our impulses. Very important things, right? And we call these all together executive functions. This prefrontal cortex, when it gets bathed in those play-based neurochemicals, it becomes more flexible and creative. We think of better ideas. Scientists have done some pretty fun studies looking at this. We come up with more possibilities for solutions to problems. This can serve us well in so many areas of life. So what is a playful mindset, Kim, and how do we get there? Well, it's a state where we're open to novelty. We're tolerant of ambiguity and complexity. Whew, those are tough to do, right? Can you see how that would benefit us, though, at this time, in this place, in this church, in this world? An openness to ambiguity, to approach ambiguity with playfulness instead of fear. To say, what might be those possible solutions here? So how do you do this practically, Kim? Well, I'm an occupational therapist, so I'm very interested in the doing of things. We use occupation in our field to mean all the activities that are important in your day-to-day life. And I'm also a play researcher. So I look for ways that OTs can help kids with disability to have more access to play and playfulness. But as a human living through a pandemic, I'm looking for those things for myself as well. The advice I've found helpful so far is to look for those opportunities to play in your daily life. Like Sark recommends in Living Juicy, take a walk and think about trying to find something playful in it. Look for an adventure. Make the small things into adventures. Try to remember that play that you found joyful, that memory I asked you to bring forward. Find an aspect of that that's present in your day-to-day life. Did you love to dig in the dirt? Maybe now you're a gardener. Maybe you're not, but you can plant some seeds. Maybe you can expand your garden with something a little more whimsical than you might have done before. Maybe that will feel like play to you. Did you love silly jokes when you were a child? Challenge yourself to write a joke. Try it out on your friends. See if you can make them laugh. There's a game online I played with friends recently called Joke Boat. It's very goofy, where you come up with categories and have to quickly write jokes based on these categories and the words and the prompts they pass you. At first I thought, I'm not going to like this. I will not be good at this. That was not a playful mindset. But within a few minutes, we were laughing at very bad jokes that we had written for each other. And these were friends, one in California, one in Oklahoma. We have these opportunities for connection. Challenge yourself to watch for children. Maybe you have children in your day-to-day life. Maybe they're not, and you need to seek them out. Look for games that they are playing. They'll invite you into play if you approach with a playful mindset. They're very, very good at that. If you don't have kids in your day-to-day life, think about what your kids did in the past, if you had them. Think about what you enjoyed doing with them. Think about what you enjoyed when you were a child. Dig back into those pieces. Then, find play in the things you have to do, or the things you really don't want to do, but you should do, right? That awful word. Put on some music and dance through sweeping the kitchen floor. Make a new playlist to exercise to. Don't just turn on the same one. Ask your friends, your family, your coworkers, how do they find play or joy in their days? Challenge each other to find more. Lastly, I ask you to consider the play that this community engages in together. Play is one way that social mammals bond with their group. Play between children, play with children, between children and adults, between adults. Are we finding those opportunities here? I was only ever able to make one trip to Camp Unirondack. That's on my coffee mug. I have the logo. In the 10 years I've been coming here. But I know it was a place many in this community got to play together historically. I know I came out of it feeling much more connected to both the individuals and the community as a whole. But one thing this pandemic has taught us is we cannot count on opportunities always being available. It's been a bit since we were able to play there together, and many have never accessed it in this community. It's never been something we all could go to together. So maybe we need to use a playful mindset to think of new opportunities to play together. Opportunities that are inclusive, that welcome newcomers and longtime members to play together. Opportunities accessible to those at home who watch through the screen, and those who are able to come connect here in our beautiful space. The world is dark and scary so much of the time, but using play and playfulness to connect with our inner joy and the joy in this community can help to combat at least a little bit of that darkness and will make us stronger, more creative, and more resilient as individuals and as a community. So I challenge you all to try to play. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim, very much. Each week we take an offering to sustain the important ministries and programs of this congregation and its presence in Ithaca. The giving information is shown in the order of service. For those watching remotely, the text number and website will appear on your screen during the offertory music, and the information below the live stream image on YouTube. Giving to the plate is important. It is a symbol of our gratitude for this service and our ongoing commitment to support the work of this church. So please take a moment and give through either the text option or the giving button on our church website. If you are attending in person and would prefer to write a check, you can place your offering in the box by the door when you exit after the service. Please join me in saying the offertory words printed in your order of service. May these gifts bring about connection, inspiration, and engagement within these walls and beyond.
Thank you, Kim, for your words about play. And I don't usually do this, but I do want to take just a second to encourage all of you to take a look at the religious exploration activities for April, because we have a ton of opportunities to play. Children are going to meet upstairs today. We're going to do it twice more in April. We're going to take an all-ages walk up to Gannick the first weekend next Sunday, and we're going to meet at Stewart Park at the small pavilion for a spring celebration on Easter after services with snacks and activities, and you are all invited to come and play with us. I'm going to invite you now to rise in body or spirit and join us in our closing hymn, number 324, Where My Free Spirit Onward Leads. Where my free spirit onward leads, well, there shall be my way. By my own light illumined, I've journeyed night and day. My ancient time-worn cloak I wear, as once I wore my youth. I celebrate life's mystery, I celebrate death's too. My family is not confined to mother, mate, and child, but it includes all creatures, be they tame or be they wild. My family upon this earth includes all living things, on land or in the ocean deep, or born aloft on wings. The ever-spinning universe, well, there shall be my home. I sing and spin within it, as through this life I roam. Eternity is hard to ken, and harder still is this. A human life, when truly seen, is briefer than a kiss.
In closing, I offer a short poem by Paul Hayward called Dance. Open your heart to happiness. Let every pore absorb light. Swim in the joy of here and now, and cast off the darkness of night. Walk in the summer of sunshine. Fly in the blueness of sky. No possibilities are boundless. Understand that nothing can die. Step from the shadows of torment. Sing till your throat gets too sore. Smile for as long as the day is, and laugh just a little bit more. Breathe slowly and deeply and listen. Give all your ideas a chance. Let the sun beat down on your goodness, and kick off your shoes and dance. I hope a playful mindset will help you to do some of those things. Thank you, everyone.
As we extinguish the chalice, we gather the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action into our hearts and carry it forward into the dawning day. Go now in peace.